Hello everybody, this is AG here and welcome to the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. And it's been 2 years since we've done a full season of this series, but it's gonna happen this year and we could not be any more excited for it. The Haas IndyCar Series, the longest running series on this channel, has returned, and we are ready to kick things off here with tomorrow night's California 100. And what better way to celebrate the beginning of the new season with single car qualifying? It is going to be an intense little session here tonight to determine the starting lineup for tomorrow's 50-lap event here around this 2-mile speedway. However, unlike Indy 250 qualifying, nobody goes home. All 26 drivers qualifying here tonight will be racing in tomorrow's race. But hey, tonight's going to be a great chance to get to know the 2022 full-time field in the Haas IndyCar Series, get to know the teams, get to know the team owners, and just have a little bit of fun and celebrate the IndyCar Series coming back for a full 20-race season, the longest season we have ever done here for the Haas IndyCar Series. Of course, right in the middle of that season is the greatest race we do on this channel, the Indianapolis 250. That's going to be at the end of May. But the journey begins tonight here, the Auto Club Speedway, with the California 100 tomorrow night for 50 laps. In the description below, you will see the qualifying order, and it's pretty straightforward and simple. Every driver gets 1 lap under speed, and the fastest time wins the pole. So it ain't complicated tonight. That's a good thing, and we're going to have a lot of fun seeing who gets that pole position here at the Auto Club Speedway. We're not going to waste any more of your time. Let's go ahead and get started. First driver out on the racetrack will be Cole Raymond, driving the number 95 for Nathan Ormond Motorsports. Let's go ahead and get this evening started. 26 drivers going to be qualifying here, looking for that pole position here at the Auto Club Speedway, and I think it's good to preface what this race is going to be like before we begin anything else. It's not the Auto Club Speedway of the past year of the Haas IndyCar Series. We're not particularly going to be seeing a full-blown pack race in tomorrow night's event. There's not near as much grip on this racetrack anymore, and because of that, these guys are going to be slipping and sliding around. It's going to be a bit slower than it used to be, but the racing is going to be good, and it's not going to be a cycle race. You're really going to have to go for it and be consistent if you're going to get this win tomorrow night. As you see, already under 200 through the corner, which is a little bit lower than realistic speed, but what we're doing to make sure we have ourselves an excellent race tomorrow. 217 heading in the turn number 3, and a lot faster through turns 3 and 4. We got ourselves an 11-mile-per-hour northeast wind here, so that is definitely going to play a huge effect on how well these guys run. First lap for Cole Raymond, going to be a 34.107. That's going to be the benchmark for the rest of the night. We'll have to see how that holds up with the rest of the field here in California 100 qualifying. Here is the second driver coming out here for California 100 qualifying. This long-lost son of Micah Knapp, J Knapp. And you know, I'm going to preface here another thing as well throughout the season. Micah is going to be a co-commentator for a majority of these races. He's one of my best friends, of course, and I honestly just don't care anymore. So I let him have a ride as well, because he is one of my best friends. And, yeah, his son's going to be driving. J Knapp in the number 81. Going to be 4 drivers making their official first career start on the channel tomorrow night. Cole Raymond was one of them. J Knapp is another. Of course, J Knapp does have a little bit of experience, a little bit of help there from his quote-unquote father, Micah Knapp. So we're going to have a lot of fun playing with this little story throughout the season. But beyond the fact, it's still going to be interesting to see what J Knapp does here, driving for Shane Lake's team, Dog Pound Incorporated. About a 195 as the slowest point into turn number 2. And entering turn number 3, he barely hit 217. This is not looking like it's going to be quite as fast as Cole Raymond's time. Off of turn number 4, J Knapp's going to go with a 34.186. He will be second overall. heading into the third driver here for California 100 qualifying. Third driver out here for California 100 qualifying. And another one of our newcomers here in the Haas IndyCar Series and on the channel as general. That is Reggie Fogleman in the number 24, the teammate to Cole Raymond. Nathan Orman Motorsports with the least experienced team in this field. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do as the season progresses with two completely true rookies to the channel. But Reggie Fogleman here in the number 24 machine will be making his first career start tomorrow night. A lot of drivers tend to do well in their first career starts, and we're going to have 4 opportunities. Next guy in line, of course, also in his first career start, Brian Rodriguez after Fogelman right here. He crossed the line at 2:08. His minimum speed through turn 1 and 2 is going to be a telling sign of how well he's going to do. 196, he held that one very well through turns 1 and 2. And that should give him a bit of momentum down the backstretch heading him to turn number 3. Fogelman is going to stay at 217 for an extended period of time. I think this is going to be the new fastest lap. Oh, he really washed it up the racetrack. And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier on. We're going to see this happen quite a bit throughout the weekend. That is going to devastate Fogelman's time. 34.821. He had it. He had the fastest time, and he lost it right there in the turns 3 and 4. That's going to make this qualifying session very interesting because that's not going to be the first time we see that here tonight. No doubt about it. Fourth driver out, and the final true rookie who will be running in tomorrow's event. Of course, the qualifying order determined by the amount of wins on the channel. We'll call it amount of Napa fan wins just for old time's sakes. And also, the tiebreakers determined by the amount of experience these drivers have. So all 4 drivers who have never made a start on the channel before going out first here tonight for California 100 qualifying. This here is Brian Rodriguez in the number 13, driving for Wisconsin Speedworks. Andrew Williams, the owner of this team. And his brother Logan Williams is also driving, but not for his team, interestingly enough. This is number 13 machine right here of Brian Rodriguez. He was about 209 across the line. We'll have to see how well he can hold his speed into turn number 1. Minimum speed, he washed it up just a little bit there. These guys, they have to be careful. You want to carry that speed into the corner, but if you carry it too far, you wash it up. And that's what happened with Rodriguez right there. He washed it up the racetrack. But Rodriguez, he's going to do the same thing that Fogelman did earlier on. And this may just be the slowest time so far. So Cole Raymond clocking in the fastest time of the session. That's a 35.245. He really washed it up the racetrack both times. And these true rookies are going to have a lot to get used to, especially here at this racetrack. This is a tough racetrack with the way the grip is set up here for these guys to come into for their first ever race. Here's our 5th driver and our first driver, whom we have a little bit of familiarity with here on the channel. This is Chris Reynolds in the number 50, who has been running fairly strong over in the Wawa Pro Series in his first ever run over there. But because of that Wawa Pro Series experience, he is not an official true rookie to the channel. However, this will be his first run in the Haas IndyCar Series. Driving for the number 50 team, Dracoan Racing Enterprises. Owen Miles, the owner of this team right here. So Owen Miles has run a couple of IndyCar races, a couple IndyCar seasons, so we'll have to see if he takes that knowledge to ownership fairly well here with Chris Reynolds behind the wheel. 209 across the line. We have obviously seen these guys get a little hot into the corner and may have slid up the racetrack. Reynolds, though, he was 193 at minimum speed, but he did not wash it up the racetrack. So if he can keep the momentum up and hold his line in the turns 3 and 4, he's going to have a good time right here. 34.107, fastest time set by Cole Raymond. And again, maybe that wind's getting a bit strong out there. Chris Reynolds washed it up the racetrack, and now he is going to fall back. It's going to come down to who doesn't make that mistake. Cole Raymond, or should I say Chris Reynolds, going to go to 4th overall. So we finally had a time faster than one that was already done. But Chris Reynolds is going to go to the 4th position here in California 100 qualifying. Here is the 6th driver qualifying here in this California 100. This is Caleb Rose, who is the first driver in this session, who has raced before in the Haas IndyCar Series. He ran in last year's Indianapolis 250. I don't remember where he finished, though, because that was a while ago, and a lot has happened since we've done that race, but either way, we are excited to see what Caleb Rose does in his first official full-time season. Of course, last year, everyone who was attempting that Indy 250 was going to attempt the full season, but other things happen. Let's just put it that way. 208 across the line for Caleb Rose. We'll have to see if he makes that same mistake. Ooh, boy. Wash it up just a tad bit there, but he did hold his speed quite a bit. You know, unlike Indianapolis, it's going to be a little harder to tell how well these times are going to hold, especially if they don't wash it up, because they hit different speeds at different points, especially if they go a little bit slower like that, entering the corner, and Caleb Rose is going to hold that 204 off the corner very well. He did not wash it up. We'll have to see if this has anything against Cole Raymond's time. It does not. 34.539. That puts him 3rd overall so far in California 100 qualifying. Little did we know that time set by Cole Raymond was going to be the fastest one so far of the night, but 6 drivers in and he still holds the fastest time. Here's a driver we all know very well here in the Haas IndyCar Series, who has ironically never won before on the channel. I actually thought that he grabbed a win at some point in his career somewhere, but it never happened to him. Now, he almost won. He was very dominant in the 2020 Indy 250, I do believe. And once we get to Indianapolis, it'll actually be Brandon Nelson's 3rd Indianapolis 250, but his first official full-time season driving for Collins Racing. Caleb Rose also drives for Owen Miles' team, by the way, so for Cohen Racing Enterprises, they're already done for the night with their 2 drivers, but Brandon Nelson here for Collins Racing and Mitchell Collins. It should be an interesting one right here as a guy who has a lot of Indianapolis experience going out there. 208. This is the last driver here in qualifying who has never won a race on the channel before. Ooh, pretty good time right there. He was minimum 196 and never slid up the racetrack. We'll have to see if he holds the line through turns 3 and 4, then he is going to go to the top of the board. 203, 204. This is looking like a good time. He held it very well in an inside lane, did not wash it up the racetrack, and across the line, Brandon Nelson is going to go to a 34.151. That is 2nd fastest overall here. You know, I mean, it is what it is, but it's not really as fun when the fastest time is the first time set. You kind of, you know, think that first time is going to be kind of a middle-of-the-road time. Cole Raymond is still up top after he went out first here at the Auto Club Speedway. And here is Brandon Nelson's teammate, Scott Upton, in the 02 machine, who does have a win on the channel. I forget where they got it, because that was a long time ago. But Brandon Nelson going to have Scott Upton as a teammate this year on Collins Racing. Mitchell Collins' team looking very strong with these 2 drivers. And even though they are kind of far up the list here, they're guys who have a ton of experience on the channel here. And I think they're going to have a good season. But Scott Upton's never run in the Haas IndyCar Series before, interestingly enough. And I thought they did in the past, but apparently not. So we'll have to see what they do this season. 209 across the line. We'll have to see if they can hold it into the corner. That is the big thing. We saw Brandon Nelson be able to do it. And Upton, oh yeah, that's good right there. 197 as a minimum speed through the corner, and they did not watch it up the racetrack either. Gonna enter turn number 3, 217. You gotta be careful right here. 206, 207. Holding that inside lane. I think we might finally see Cole Raymond's time get beat here. Scott Upton with a fast time. It should go under 34. It does go under 34. 33.995. Scott Upton with the fastest time so far here in California 100 qualifying for Mitchell Collins Racing. And here's a driver we definitely know, the last guy who won in this series, last year's Indianapolis 250 champion. Led one lap in that event last year, and it is his only career win on the channel. This is Ethan Lewis, number 11 machine. He's going to be driving for PreRace Racing this year. Logan Williams going to be his teammate. Braden Perez, the owner of this team. And Ethan Lewis will definitely be a force to be reckoned with this season. The unofficial 2021 champion of the Haas IndyCar Series. Because he only had one race last year, and of course he won it, so we'll have to see how well he does in a 20-race season. Ooh, and he definitely let off the gas early on into the corner right there. But he did not wash it up the racetrack, but this is not going to beat Upton's time. And they had such a fast lap there, too. You could visibly tell that was good. That lap time was 1.2 seconds faster than the slowest lap time. Ethan Lewis struggling. He washed it up the racetrack. This is going to be one of the slower times so far, but Ethan Lewis only led one lap in that Indy 250 last year, and he got the race victory. He only needs to lead one lap here in order to get the race victory here. He's going to go to 8th overall quickest, 34.962 for the defending Indianapolis 250 winner. Here is the 10th driver, Landon Smith Jr. in the number 34 machine. It's going to be his first run in an IndyCar this season, so we'll have to see what this rookie can do. Of course, he's a two-time winner on the channel, so that's why he's that's why he's going after Ethan Lewis here in this qualifying order. The names will get more familiar and more powerful as this night goes along. We'll just say that much. Landon Smith Jr., definitely a solid driver, no doubt about it. Of course, his brother Trey Smith also going to be running this season. Landon Smith Jr. here driving for PreRace American Motorsports, one of the more iconic teams on the channel. 209 across the line. Here's Landon Smith Jr. has a rather iconic teammate as well. Under the corner, 212. Minimum 195, but a solid time through the corner there for Landon Smith Jr. He did not wash it up the racetrack. Of course, Ethan Lewis did the last time around. So we'll have to see what Ethan Lewis, or should I say what Landon Smith Jr. could do here through turns 3 and 4. 207, 206, but he's way up. And he's going to wash it up. I see these guys, they try to take a middle line and they just can't hold it. You got to be on that inside lane. Landon Smith Jr. 34.857. That is 7th overall here in California 100 qualifying. And here is the brother to Brandon Nelson, Brock Nelson, who has more wins on the channel than Brandon does. Two-time winner, as a matter of fact, coming in the Cup Series last year in one of the dual races and the Open. So a couple of interesting races that he's won, but he's never run in an IndyCar before. He's going to be a rookie here to the Haas IndyCar Series, driving for Baby Time Motorsports, Sergio Larvin Alonso's team, coming back here to the Haas IndyCar Series. Brock Nelson going to be 208 across the line in the number 17 machine. Going to be Brock Nelson and Zack Winkle teammates at Alonso's team this year. Held a pretty steady wheel through turns 1 and 2. But I think the big culprit for a lot of these guys is turns 3 and 4. You have to enter pretty low in order to get a good lap time. But if you try to go middle, then that's when these guys tend to lose it. And Brock Nelson, he did the right thing. Went a little bit lower, and that is going to help him out right here. But I don't think it's going to be the fastest time. Brock Nelson going to go to a 34.173. That is 4th quickest here in California 100 qualifying. Solid time there for Brock Nelson here at Auto Club. 12th driver to come out here at the Auto Club Speedway for California 100 qualifying. This is Zack Winkle, who has also been running in the Wawa Pro Series this year. Driving the number 28, also for Alonso's team. This should be an interesting run because Winkle's never run before in the IndyCar Series, but he does have a lot of experience. A Thanksgiving 500 winner, and that race plays out a lot like an open wheel race, so we'll have to see if Winkle uses that experience this season in the Haas IndyCar Series, at least on the super speedways. Because there's also road courses and short tracks as well, so wide variety of different tracks here in the Haas IndyCar Series. We've got 10 ovals and 10 road courses this season, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But Zack Winkle, an experienced driver to the channel. It's 209 across the line. And he's going to minimize at 195 through the corner, but he will not wash it up the racetrack. So he's got a pretty steady car right here. Down the backstretch he goes. He's going to hit turn number 3 at a maximum 216, and he's a bit high. but he is going to hold his line. So this is going to be a relatively decent time for Zack Winkle, better than some of those who have slid up the racetrack here tonight. Won't be the fastest time, though. 34.263 puts him at 6th overall here in California 100 qualifying. 13th driver out, and once we're done with this gentleman right here, we will be halfway through California 100 qualifying here from the Auto Club Speedway. This is Angel Olvera, number 25. Gonna be his second full-time season in the Haas IndyCar Series, and not only that, he has won before in this series in the past. I believe he is the first driver who has won, or actually, outside of Ethan Lewis, of course, who won the Indy 250 last year, but he has won before in the series. He has experience, and he's going to be a threat this season. Driving for Andrew Williams' team, Wisconsin Speedworks. Should have a good one here with teammate Brian Rodriguez this season. Angel Olvera going to come across the line, 209. Have to see how well he gets through turns 1 and 2. And he did not let off the gas too much there, and he's holding his line pretty well, but he might wash it up just a little bit. He held speed for quite a while and went down to a minimum of 193. It's all going to come down to turns 3 and 4 right here, and he's very high on the racetrack there. He is definitely going to wash that thing up. But he had a little bit more speed than some of the other guys who have washed it up tonight, so we'll have to see where he falls as he crosses the line. It's going to be a 34.954, 11th quickest, so that was not a good time there for Angel Olvera. But it's a long race tomorrow. We'll have to see what he can do to move his way on through the field. 14th guy out. This is Nathan Faden, who does have a good amount of experience in this series. He's going to be his 3rd full-time season here in the Haas IndyCar Series this year. And keep in mind, I'm not counting last year's Indy 250 as a full-time season for any of these guys, so it's going to be a good season for Nathan Faden, I feel like. Jay Knapp going to be his teammate at Dog Pound Incorporated. Shane Lake's team right here. Of course, Shane Lake, a past Cup champion. Nathan Faden does have a Super Speedway win in this series. If I can remember correctly, Nathan Faden won the 2019 Haas World Championship 100 at Pocono. So, probably one of the more memorable non-Indy 250 races that we have ever had here in the Haas IndyCar Series. And Faden was the winner of that race. Of course, the focus was on Justin Zeidel winning the championship that year. And we'll get to Zeidel later on here tonight. We definitely let off the gas early there, but he's going to hold his speed fairly well through the corner. Going to get a good run off as well. And getting a good run off at turn number 2 definitely plays a factor into how well you enter turn number 3 here. 217 for just a moment right there for Nathan Faden, but he does appear to be holding that middle line fairly well. I don't believe that this is going to be the fastest time, but it is going to be a fast time for Faden. Across the line, Faden will go to a 34.192. That is 6th quickest. Just below his teammate Jay Knapp right there, but a good time for Faden. And we'll have to see where that ends up falling once we get through the final 12 drivers here of this session. Driver number 15 of the night, Logan Williams, whose brother owns a team, but Logan Williams doesn't drive for him. This is the number 18 for PreRace Racing. Logan Williams is going to be a teammate to Ethan Lewis this year, and I think those two guys are going to have a strong season. It's going to be Williams' 2nd Indy 250 once we get to it later on in the year. But he is going to be a rookie to the Haas IndyCar Series this season, at least full-time. It should be interesting to see what Logan Williams can do. Of course, Logan Williams is a solid driver on the channel, no doubt about it. 3 career wins. Of course, at least 1 Cup win. He may have won 2. I just don't remember. Last year's a bit of a blur for me when it comes to this stuff. I used to be able to remember all of it, but once you've done over 1,000 races, you kind of lose track. 194 is a minimum through the corner, but he does appear to be picking the speed up. He did not wash it up the racetrack. If he can carry some good speed in the turn number 3, then he's going to have a good night, but he's not hitting 217, and he's definitely a little wide. But he held that speed pretty well, 205, pretty much throughout the whole corner right there. And off of turn number 4, Logan Williams, 34.176, 5th quickest for Logan Williams here in California 100 qualifying. Great run there for the driver, the number 18. Here's the 16th driver out. His brother went out earlier, Landon Smith Jr., and Smith Jr. washed it up the racetrack. We'll have to see if Trey Smith does that here. Driving for Ryan Durrani Incorporated in the Haas car. Number 41 machine of Trey Smith will be running in his second Indy 250 once we get there later in the year. Trey Smith, a rookie to the Haas IndyCar Series in terms of full-time competition. However, Trey Smith has a few wins under his belt with 4 career wins on the channel. 210 across the line. If he can hold through the corners, he's going to have a good lap right here, but he is really trying to fly it into the corner there. And he went down the 190, but he was very high on the racetrack. He went into that corner with a ton of speed. And that's actually going to hurt him on the other end. He was only 215 in the turn number 3. But he is going to hold 205, so this is going to be a semi-decent lap. It's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out for him. He was kind of high on the racetrack, but he kept the decent speed the whole way through. 34.346. Kind of in between. You may notice that bit of a gap right there between Winkle, Rose, and Fogelman. He's in between Winkle and Rose right there for 9th overall, but a little bit better than his brother Trey Smith there. Not to see, or his brother Landon Smith Jr. He is Trey Smith. He's not brothers with himself, or is he? 9th quickest for Trey Smith here in California 100 qualifying. Here's the 17th driver out on the racetrack. And so far, and is actually, as a matter of fact, the most experienced IndyCar driver running this season. No, I'm wrong about that. You'll see why once we get to the end of the night why I'm wrong about that. The second most experienced guy in IndyCar, Noah Clifton, in the number 23. He's driving for Mobile One Grattan Autosports, Stuart Grattan's team right here. Noah Clifton, he's been around here in the Haas IndyCar Series. 1 career win all the way back in 2016, almost 6 years ago. The one time he's won in this series, but he's been running for a long time. 6 career wins on the channel. Hoping to add some more this season in the Haas IndyCar Series. Trying to hold a good line through the corner. That is the fastest we have seen anybody through turns 1 and 2 so far. Clifton is an experienced driver. Now, he's going to have to hold his line very well here in turns 3 and 4 if he's going to have any shot. And he's going a little low right there. This may be our new fastest time right here. Noah Clifton trying to knock off Scott Upton. He needs to beat a 33.995 at the stripe. Noah Clifton, 34.016. Not quite fast enough. He's going to go second quickest here after 17 drivers in California 100 qualifying. But a great run there for Noah Clifton. He's going to more than likely be starting inside the top 5 for tomorrow night's race. Next driver in line, Ace Garcia. He was also another IndyCar veteran, not as experienced as Noah Clifton. He's very experienced in the Indy 250, but this is only going to be his second full-time season in the Haas IndyCar Series. He's driving for Northern Racing. This is Christopher Alphabe's team. Of course, Alphabe, a former driver of this series. Going to be owning the 32 and the 31, who we will get to here in a minute. In a few minutes. You'll see why. You'll see why that's a big deal. But Ace Garcia, definitely an experienced driver. Has never won before, though, in IndyCar, but 7 career wins on the channel. Most notably his last one coming last year in the Cup Series at Chicagoland. Across the line, 209 for Ace Garcia. We'll see how well he holds in the 1 and 2. 198, and that's a pretty good time right there through the corner. Not as fast as Clifton was earlier on, but this should be a decent time as long as he doesn't wash it up the racetrack in 3 and 4. Oh, he really slowed down entering the corner there, so he didn't wash it up, but he's not going to be near as fast as Upton and Clifton. Ace Garcia is going to come across the line. I'm going to say this is probably going to be around the 9th position. It's a 34.129. Now, that's a pretty fast time there. 4th quickest for Ace Garcia at a 34.129. And letting off the gas a little early there in the turn number 3 helped him out there, but a good run there for Ace Garcia here in California 100 qualifying. Here's another longtime veteran, Of course, at this point, they're all going to be longtime veterans. All these guys have multiple wins on the channel. This is Thomas Troxell, number 67, going to be driving for North State Racing this year. And North State Racing, owned by Davey Johnson, of course. Davey Johnson is one of the longer-running drivers in this series, but he will be an owner this year, and he's going to have two of the best driving for his team. Of course, Thomas Troxell has won before in this series, just once, but he's won 7 times on the channel. And he's going to be looking for a solid season here in this number 67 machine. 208 across the line, however, not as fast as he would like it. 212 heading into turn number 1. Ooh, there we go. Did not go below 200 through the corner, and that's going to be a good sign for Troxell as long as he doesn't wash it up in 3 and 4. 218 heading into turn number 3. A little bit slower through the corner, but he did not wash it up. We'll have to see if that speed carries him to the pole. Across the line, I don't think it's going to be fast enough. 34.052. That is third quickest here in California 100 qualifying. But that is a solid lap time, and Troxell's going to be a threat to win tomorrow. No doubt about it. Good run there for Thomas Troxell in the number 67. Here's a name you all know when it comes to this series. Our first past champion, and one of only 2 past champions of this series running this year. The 2019 Haas IndyCar Series champion of Justin Zeidel. And would you believe he's only won 1 career race in this series, and that came in the season before he won the championship, when he won at Riverside, which also happened to be, I believe, his first ever IndyCar start. He has not won since Riverside. Now, we will be going to Riverside next weekend, so that might play in the Zeidel's hands, but you know Zeidel's hungry for a Haas IndyCar Series race victory. He's going to be going for it here as teammate to Noah Clifton at Mobile One Grattan Autosport. These guys definitely have some fast cars, I do believe. We're just going to have to see. Ooh. That did not work out too well for Zeidel. Really had to check up entering the corner right there. This is not going to be a good time for the 2019 champion. His teammate Noah Clifton second fastest right now, and just above 34 seconds for him. As Zeidel will keep it low. We haven't seen anyone wash it up the racetrack lately, so these guys are generally getting a little bit faster here, but it's not going to be one of the faster times. 34.27, which puts him 12th quickest overall out of 20 drivers. Not too bad, but could have been a little bit better there for Justin Zeidel in number 5. 21st driver, and a driver we have not seen in quite some time, as a matter of fact. Richard Kinghart, number 97, who, I think it was 2019, was actually one of those drivers in championship contention when he was battling there with Justin Zeidel, but couldn't quite get that championship that year. But he did win twice that year. So Kinghart knows how to get it done here in this series. 7 career wins on the channel. Going to be a second full-time season. He can be driving for NS Racing, Nathan Stapleton's team right here in the Powerade machine. And of course, Kinghart, a veteran of this series. He knows how to get it done. Definitely going to be interesting to see how he fares along with the rest of these veterans. And these names that we got coming up here, they're going to be some heavy hitters this season. No doubt about it. Heavy hitters in terms of the channel overall. No doubt about that. 212 into the corner. Went about 194 there, but not too bad, but he's having a little bit of difficulty getting back up to speed. We've seen guys stay above 200 through that corner, and Kinghart was out at 200 for quite a while. There's a much bigger differential here than it is in Indianapolis. A lot easier to mess up here, but Kinghart doing a good job through turns 3 and 4. He's 205 throughout the entire corner right there, and across the line. This should be a decent time. 34.180. That's going to put him 9th quickest here in California 100 qualifying. Good lap there for the NS Racing driver of Richard Kinghart. 22nd driver here, Eric Monaco in the number 37. Now, this is a driver who has never won before in the Haas IndyCar Series. Even though that day Justin Zeidel won at Riverside, he came as close as you can get, if you remember that race. And I'll never forget it. Monaco was coming to the checkered flag. Came down the pit lane with an oil leak. And Zeidel was running second, took the win away from him. Just think, you know, Monaco hasn't even won in this series since then. Of course, this is only his second full-time season, so he only ran that 2018 season. It's been a while since he's been in this series. However, the reason why he is far up on the list here is because he's 9 wins on the channel, and a lot of those coming in the Hearst Dash Series back in 2020, so Monaco, a solid driver. Going to be driving for Ryan Durrani Incorporated in this number 37, and going to be starting the California 100 midway through the field, more than likely, as he had to check up into turn number 1 right there. It's going to be interesting when we get 26 cars on the racetrack and they're doing that. 216 is a maximum in the corner, 206, 205, but he's going to wash it up. First driver we've seen do that in a while. Monaco's struggling out there. It's been a while since he's been in one of these open wheel machines. And he's going to be near the back of the field here at 35.009. That is the 21st fastest time. Or should I say the second slowest time. So more than likely he's going to be starting from the last row for tomorrow's California 100. Now, we're entering elite territory with these last 4 drivers. Let's go ahead and see who wins this poll. Any of these 4 drivers get it here at Auto Club Speedway. Number 42 is driven by the 2-time Cup Series champion Elijah Gordon. It's been a while since this guy has been running an IndyCar, but it's going to be his 3rd full-time season here in the Haas IndyCar Series, and once we get to Indy, going to be his 5th Indianapolis 250, an 18-time winner on the channel. That is double that of Eric Monaco, who just won. So these next 4 guys, they are in a league of their own compared to the rest of the field, but it's an honor to have these 4 guys running this season in the Haas IndyCar Series full-time. Elijah Gordon has only won once before in the Haas IndyCar Series. He's 209 across the line here, and he's driving for NS Racing this year, Nathan Stapleton's team. Going to be teammates here, the Richard Kinghart. 197 there through the corner. That's pretty good. If he can get a good momentum through 3 and 4, he is going to have a good shot at maybe winning this pole. Entering the corner 2, he didn't quite hit 217. 205 there. It's going to be a good time. I don't think it's quite fast enough to beat Scott Upton at 33.995, but Gordon is going to be up there with a 34.125. 5th quickest for Elijah Gordon here in California 100 qualifying, and only 3 drivers left to go, so at the worst he'll be starting 8th in tomorrow's 50-lap event. Great to see this old mate back in the Haas IndyCar Series. Everyone knows this guy. It's Zachary Fitzwater, 20-time winner on the channel. The 2-time winner in the Haas IndyCar Series. This is going to be his 3rd full-time season, but he has not run full-time, I want to say, since 2017. So it's probably been 5 years, half a decade since he's run full-time in this series. Whew, when you put it that way, you realize how long you've been doing this. Anyway, Zachary Fitzwater going to be driving for North State Racing, and Davey Johnson going to be teammates with Thomas Troxell. Quite possibly the strongest 1-2 punch in this series this season. Maybe. We'll talk about the next guy. I think those guys in Northern Racing have a good 1-2 punch as well. 193 minimum speed, though, for Zachary Fitzwater, and this might not be one of the faster times we've seen. Fitzwater definitely going to have an interesting season. I think he's going to be a threat in this championship. He's not had a good Wawa Pro Series, but he's going to come through with vengeance this season. But, he washed it up significantly right there. This is not going to work out well for the Aussie driver right here. Across the line at a 35.043. That is 23rd overall. He washed it up a ton there. That is not going to work out well for him here at the Auto Club Speedway. Going to have to do a lot of work tomorrow if he's going to get the race victory. And now we come to probably the heaviest hitter of them all here in this Haas IndyCar Series Championship this year. Mr. Edge himself, Nicolas Samudio, back for a 5th full-time season. It will be his 8th Indy 250 once we get into the month of May. The 2-time Indy 250 champion and the 2018 Haas IndyCar Series champion, Nicolas Samudio, in the number 31. His team is going to be Ace Garcia, That's a pretty solid 1-2 punch, no doubt about it there for Christopher Alphaby in Northern Racing. You know Samodio is going to be a threat to win the Indy 250 once again. It would be his third Indy 250 if he could pull it off this year. Let's see what he can do right here, though. Through the corner, 198. That's a solid run right there. He didn't wash it up the racetrack at all, and he's going to have a lot of momentum heading into turn number 3. Definitely would love to see Samodio start up front for tomorrow's race. 217 into the corner. And he's a little wide. He's going to wash it up. Wow. I know it's just a video game, but, you know, it's still kind of interesting seeing someone as experienced, quote-unquote, as Samodio do something like that. 34.830. That is 18th quickest for Samodio, but hey, it's a long race tomorrow, and you never know what could happen in the California 100. One driver left. The all-time winningest driver on the channel, Jesse Turner. See what he does, if he can beat Scott Upton for the pole position. I could talk all day about the argument on who would be the greatest driver on the channel between Jesse Turner and Nicolas Samudio. I would actually point more towards Samudio because of his 2 Indy 250 wins, but this guy right here, Jesse Turner, was the first ever winner on the channel all the way back nearly 7 years ago, and just recently became the all-time winningest driver on the channel once again with 23 career wins. Now, arguably 2 of those races are sprint races. They really weren't that much. Turner wants to win some big races here in the Haas IndyCar Series this year. His 3rd full-time season is going to be his 5th Indy 250 once we get to the end of May. 23 career wins on the channel. 2 of those coming in this series back in the day. And 1 of those coming at this very racetrack in 2017. As far as I served myself correctly there. Jesse Turner driving for American Motorsports and Trey Wright through the corner. Oh, he's going to wash it up. I thought he was going to hold the speed, but that's not going to be the fastest time. So it's looking like Scott Upton is going to win the pole for the California 100. But Turner's going to try to get top 10 right here. We'll have to see what he does in the turn number 1. He really went off the gas there, but that is going to hold him a little bit better than Samodio did. I think he's going to be in the top half of the field to start this race. Across the line, Jesse Turner will go 34.399. 16th quickest for Turner. Scott Upton has won the pole for the California 100 here in the opening race of the 2022 Haas IndyCar Series. So that will do it here, at least on this Thursday evening from the Auto Club Speedway. Tune in tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for the California 100, the opening race of the season here in the Haas IndyCar Series. We're excited to do this. This is the first full custom IndyCar Series that I've ever done. Who knows, it may be the first full custom IndyCar Series that anyone has done in NR offline. That's very specific, but hey, if we're the ones who do it, I'm proud to be the first one to do it. No, but hey, we're going to have fun regardless. Scott Upton and Noah Clifton on the front row. Thomas Troxell, Cole Raymond in his first ever start tomorrow. Going to be starting in 4th. And you got Elijah Gordon, Ace Garcia. The brothers, Brandon Nelson, Brock Nelson there in row number 4. Logan Williams and Richard Kinghart in row 5. Jay Knapp, Nathan Faden make up row number 6. Zack Winkle and 2019 champion Justin Zeidel in row 7. Trey Smith, Jesse Turner in row 8. Caleb Rose and Reggie Fogleman in row 9. Nicolas Samudio, Landon Smith Jr. in row 10. Chris Reynolds, Angel Olvera, row 11. Ethan Lewis, Eric Monaco, row 12. And in the last row, it's Zachary Fitzwater and Brian Rodriguez. They're in row number 13, but realistically, anyone has a shot at winning this race. However, we're not going to see that cycle race like we have in the past, so you probably do want to be starting at least in the top half of the field tomorrow. But it's going to be a fun race. Going to have a set of pit stops. We could see a couple wrecks, 50 laps. It's going to be fun. And we're going to have Mike and Knapp in the booth with us tomorrow as well. Great to have the IndyCar expert along with us for most of the races this season. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you guys tomorrow night for the California 100 and the Haas IndyCar Series, and Wawa Pro Series is also going to be continuing on as well. I don't know when the next race is for that, but stay tuned for some more racing action here on AG, the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Try to do better the next time. Congratulations to Scott Upton for winning the pole here at California, and I will see you guys later.